Well, good evening, and thank you everybody for coming tonight. I appreciate it. One of the things we're going to do right now is I want to thank all of the Board of Commissioners. We have commissioners here this evening, and if you're a commissioner, I'm not going to make you stand because you're eating, but if you could raise your hand just so that everyone can see. You too, Nancy, a current commissioner, a current serving commissioner. So you can see we have 9 commissioners, and we have a majority of them in attendance tonight, so I appreciate that support. We also have a number of elected and appointed department heads as well as judges in the audience today. So could all of you raise your hands just for the acknowledgement? Very good. Thank you so much. The last thing I want to do is well, not the last thing, but the last thing on the screen is I want to be able to thank all of the students at the ISD for the wonderful dinner. The meal that you just have plated before you, I think the presentation is absolutely phenomenal. So nicely done. So we're going to cover a number of things this evening. A lot of people aren't sure what county government really does. And if you ever try to explain it to somebody, it's really difficult to do. So what we decided we were going to do tonight is oftentimes the state of a county simply talks about the financial status of the county. And although that's interesting, there's only a certain type of people that like to spend hours upon hours talking about numbers and finances. So I don't want to do that with you, but what I want to do is kind of feed off of last year's presentation. So if you were here last year, you heard that we did set some goals for 2024. And those goals were in 5 very specific areas. So we're going to go through those today so that you have an understanding of all of the things that we actually have accomplished this year, which I have to say, when putting this together, it surprised me to see everything that we had actually accomplished. So as part of our introduction, we want to acknowledge some of the challenges that we have today and some of our strengths and weaknesses. Although we're not immune to some of the same issues impacting all other counties and the state and the nation. We have some of those same problems here. Yet amid all of those challenges, the people of Lenawee County continue to come together and show commitment and outpouring for our future generations so that we can have a county that they can call home. It is with that renewed purpose that we continue to bridge divides, strengthen our local economy, and create opportunities that make our county a place where people want to live and call home. So tonight, I want to encourage all of us to look ahead with a spirit of unity and resilience and collaboration as we work toward a vibrant and inclusive future for Lenawee County. So some of our goals last year were to increase public outreach. If you attended last year, you heard that this was one of the goals, and in a minute we're going to talk about all the different things that we did to accomplish that. We have tried to enhance the way that people are able to participate with our local government and are providing a Gold Star standard for those services. We also are trying to improve Lenawee County by creating a vision to see our community thrive, grow, and set it up for continued success. Sorry, my team knows I am not the most technology savvy person in the room, so sorry. We are also working to find new and improved ways to service all of you and the other members of our community. One of the things my staff hears me say a lot of times is just because we've always done it that way doesn't mean we need to continue doing it that way. Let's look for new and innovative ways to accomplish some of the same things. So we also are encouraging our public to submit ideas because more heads thinking of something, the better. And maybe we can receive some ideas from the public that we can implement in our services and our processes. So in my office, the administrator's office is no different than a number of the other departments within the county, wherein we set our own departmental goals. So not only do we have goals for the county, we have goals and objectives for our own departments. So some of the things that we wanted to do in our office was to focus in on some of the core services that we offer. The administrator's office, for those of you that don't know, is kind of the core central service office that services not only the Board of Commissioners, but also all of the other departments within the county. As we house the Human Resources Department, Accounts Payable Department, all financial issues with all of the county. So there's a lot going on in our office, and it's important that we provide a great service to all of the residents, the departments, as well as our commissioners. One of the first things that we did is to improve grant management. The county has over 135 grants that it administers annually. These are federal, state, and local opportunities. With that, we've created a portal within the finance division of my office to manage and have more of our arms wrapped around all of those grants so that we have a better understanding of what's going on. The grant administration is decentralized, meaning the departments themselves are the ones applying for and administering and closing out grants. But our office obviously needs to keep track of those as, so that we are ready for the audit when it comes due. One of the other things that we did is we implemented the meeting management software. Now this has been very interesting. It is a software where departments can submit their requests that need to ultimately go before the commissioners or one of its committees. It keeps things in line, it keeps it succinct, and it keeps it uniform. And it also comes through so that when a committee has something to review, the department has gotten it through the administrator's office. We have vetted it all out, so by the time it goes to a committee or before our Board of Commissioners, it's been properly vetted, and it makes it easier for the commissioners when they're having to make a decision. So this has created a much more efficient way of doing things. We have updated our FOIA software. This implementation is allowing for a more efficient response, oversight, and tracking of all FOIA requests. If any of you are in local municipal offices, I know you just love filling out FOIA requests. They can be very detailed, they can be very lengthy and time-consuming to fill. And then heaven forbid if you have to get a number of documents that you have to go back and redact, to make sure. So it can be very, very time-consuming. We have found that this software is saving us quite a bit of time. We have also gone out into our departments and are performing a number of trainings. This is human resource related and accounts payable related. We have different systems that the departments need to, software that they need to enter information into, and a lot of them, they're busy running their departments. They don't intuitively know how to handle some of these other things. So we have been going out to the departments and training the appropriate staff that are working on those. Not only will it make them more confident in what they're doing, it quite selfishly makes our job easier in the end when things are coming in the system properly. And one of the other things that we wanted to do, I'm sorry, that's the next page. I apologize for that. So one of the next things we're going to talk about is improved communication, which was one of the goals of the Board of Commissioners when we are going into 2024. So one of the things that we've done, I don't know if you've had an opportunity to come into our commission chambers, but we have added cameras, large monitors, hearing assist devices, and an enhanced sound system. We have also this year added sound absorbing panels around the room to decrease some of the echo, because there's a lot of hard surfaces there. That has made the meetings a lot easier to understand and to hear. As we start looking at live streaming our meetings and stuff, we needed to figure out a way to make sure we were enhancing the public participation. So we had to set up a number of policies and stuff to make sure that we were going to be following things clearly and giving our community directive on expectations and how to submit their request. So now we have the ability for residents to clearly identify their questions submitted to us, and then we can include them in the commissioner packets when we receive them, And then at the next meeting, the commissioners will respond to any of those questions that have been received. To date, though, we are not having any residents take much advantage of that. So if any of you would like to start sending in questions, I'm sure our commissioners would enjoy answering those at our next meeting. You're welcome. So as we move on, some of the other things that we have done is our website improvements. I do have to thank Ms. Ambrose for this. She came on as our new communications and marketing person. And if any of you have had an opportunity to visit our website in the past and have been able to frequent it now, there is a huge change in the way the website looks. It has the branding. She's working with all of the departments to create more access and make it more inclusive for everyone to be able to access the website no matter what their ability. So that was something that we are accomplishing. We are also, at the Register of Deeds office, they've implemented a new software, which is really neat. It's called a property fraud alert system. So what it does, it allows you to subscribe free of charge to a program that will notify you in the event anyone is trying to record a document that affects your property. Unfortunately, this does happen, and sometimes it happens without the owner's knowledge. And so our Register of Deeds, Ms. Bader, brought this software before the commission and indicated that she thought it would be useful for our residents. So they approved that, and so that is a new service that we now have available to you. You will find that oftentimes we are soliciting public information, and so we have been able to do a couple different surveys recently. Two examples include the park survey and our survey on materials management. We are hoping to do more surveys going into the future so that we can benchmark where we started and where we are going as a county. And one of the other things that we've accomplished is increased communication to the public. Well, you now can find us on several different social media platforms. As Carrie mentioned earlier, she now has an email newsletter. Many of our departments now have newsletters going out. We have something called website news flashes that you can get on and subscribe to have things land right in your email box. And we are doing several media appearances throughout the year, both radio and talk shows, to try to get the information out there. I want to go back, though, and just hit a couple statistics on the social media piece. We currently have 20 different social media accounts that are being managed. And year to date, we have published 2,454 posts. We have received 2,039 messages. We have received over 2 million impressions. So for those of you that are like me, it's like, what's an impression when it comes to social media? I didn't know what that was. It's the time content was open and seen, 1 million. And we have had 100,000 engagements. And what that is, those are clicks on the content, likes, shares, and such like you would do on Facebook. So as you can see, we are reaching a lot of people that prior to going onto social media, we were not affecting. And more people are looking to social media to get their information. So we are really excited to be able to reach that group of people that we were not able to reach in the past. So what's coming next? Well, as it applies to communication, we are still looking to do some additional streaming locations for our public meetings. Live streaming right now is actually done directly to our website, and those meetings are recorded and placed on the website for people to review afterwards. Next, we would like to be able to live stream to Facebook and YouTube, much like our courts are doing right now. So we want to be able to continue to do some of that. We still have improvements that we want to make to our website. Of particular interest are being able to have online forms that you can complete. A lot of people need to engage with the county in one department or another. And rather than coming into the office, especially if you're from one of the further outlying communities, to fill out a form and get a request processed, we are wanting to get those forms online so that you can do that from the comfort of your home. You can do it from the comfort of the bus line if you're waiting to drop a child off, or in line at the grocery store. Wherever you have time, you'd be able to access our website and take care of some of your business online. As I mentioned earlier, we want to continue the community surveys to benchmark where we are. We are always wanting to listen to what you have to say and make improvements where needed. So when those surveys come out, if you see them, just take a minute and fill those out so that we know what you're thinking, so that we can make improvements where we need to make them. We are also looking for ways to increase the communication that we currently have. We're going to be adding new social media channels. We are going to be continuing to email the newsletters and continuing with our appearances in additional video and audio content. So communicating with you is one of our big priority items, and that of our commissioners. So we are going to continue to make every effort to get you the information that you may be looking for. In fact, some of you may get more emails than you want, so that's probably better than none at all. And while I'm here, I just want to mention a couple people tonight have talked about the 60-second update. If you want to get that and you have not been able to get it yet, go to our website and there's an opportunity there to sign up for it. If you can't figure that out, call our office and we will get you signed up for that. That is a letter or email that goes out once a week. It lands in your email inbox and it tells you all the things that are going on at the county, what meetings the commissioners have had, what they're doing, and it has links to a variety of information that you might find beneficial. The next section we're going to talk about is whether the county is fiscally sound or not. And I am happy to say, yes, we are. We are very fiscally sound. There's no way we can move Lenawee County forward and do all the things that we are doing and plan to do if we do not monitor our finances and be good stewards of the money that is provided to us to do the services that we do. I'm very proud to say that in 2023, our audit received the highest ranking, which is an unqualified opinion. We were very happy with that result, and in fact, that is the kind of report that we do get on an annual basis. The county has been very good stewards of the funding that we receive. We are also we receive a AA2 bond rating. This is a rating that's very good for our community and allows us to keep our interest rates down when the time comes for us to bond for a project, saving the taxpayers money there too. The 2024 budget is balanced at $37,126,179. Included within that is $1 million going into the capital fund. Now, the capital fund has a 5-year plan that focuses on county building and technology needs, as well as other infrastructure, vehicle replacement, and our parks. It's a plan that we monitor throughout the year, and every year we look at it in the budgeting process to advance it another year. So we continually have 5 years rolling so that we are planning for our future. In 2024, we also implemented the first of a 3-stage implementation of the results from our wage and compensations study. That study was done in 2023 and has resulted in about 80% of the positions within the county requiring some sort of adjustment to the wage. This has been an effort to get the Lenawee County employees up to market average. So in addition to that, the commissioners have authorized a cost of living adjustment over the next, 2024 was 3% and then a 2% and 2% going forward. We were also able to perform an elected officials wage study this year. And so when we did that, we take a look at all of our comparable counties based on population and SCV, or ability to pay. And from that, we were able to make adjustments to almost all of our elected positions, other than judges. Sorry, we don't have any authority over yours. But we were able to make those changes, which will go into effect January 1. And for the first time, we were able to escalate the budget calendar. We wanted to encourage more public engagement, and we were able to get the budget solidified to the commissioners earlier than normal. They were able to act on it earlier than normal, which allows us these last couple months of the year to actually work on year-end processes rather than having to worry about the 2025 budget. So it took a lot of work to get that done, and I do have to say that it would not have happened without the dedicated work from our department heads, and more specifically from our human resources department and our finance department, and able to get all the information together that we needed to make sound decisions and recommendations to the commission. So what's coming next under finances? Well, as I just mentioned, the Board of Commissioners did approve a 2025 budget. That budget is totaling $41,662,899. But this year, we are able to set aside $3.5 million into our capital fund. Now, what we're doing there is not only did we increase the $1 million, giving it another $500,000 for the items I've already indicated that we typically take a look at, but we are also putting $2 million into contingency. And the reason that we're doing that is that we know we have some very large projects coming, and it makes sense to put money aside where we can so that when the time comes to potentially bond, we are able to reduce the bonding amount by being able to pay for some of those projects with funds that we have already saved up. So we will be doing that over the next few years if we are able to. As I mentioned, the wage and compensation study coming next. We do have 2 more years of implementation. The biggest change, though, did happen in 2024 as more positions were impacted then. The further out we get, the fewer positions are impacted by the compensation study. I do want to mention under our fiscal, the fiscal situation is our health insurance premiums. As all of you probably know, health insurance premiums continue to go up and go up and go up. We have looked to find ways with over 500 employees. You can imagine what our health insurance premium bill looks like. It's really expensive. So a few years back, the commissioners recommended and implemented a requirement of all county employees and their spouses to get a wellness exam on an annual basis. If the employees opted out of getting the wellness exam, their employee contribution to their health premium increased. So it was a way to encourage employees to get that done. I will say that as a result, oh, that looks delicious. I'm sorry, that just looks really good. As a result, though, I am really happy to say that by employees going in earlier, sometimes they're grudgingly going in, but they're going in, we have been able to catch a number of potential health concerns in an earlier stage, which makes those health conditions treatable before they turn into something more advanced. And so we were really happy. Our agent indicated that the county's insurance that went up this year was an average of about 8.2%, which was quite a bit lower than a number of our neighboring counties. So we were happy with that. So our rates are based on experience, which means it's based on the healthiness of our employees. So hopefully we're moving everything in the right direction. So our next key focus area is going to be efficiency improvements. So what have we accomplished to make ourselves more efficient? Well, vital records. We have some hardware and software improvements that we have made. It creates an online option to apply for marriage licenses, notaries, DBAs, and CPL licenses. Now, applying in person is still an option. However, if you want to apply through the online portal, you are able to do that. It also provides, for those people doing genealogy, a better record and search engine to be able to do that research. We, as a lot of you know, have created an early voting center for both state and federal elections. In August, it was our first time doing it, and we are actually representing all municipal governments, with the exception of one, at that early voting center. And in August, we had about just over 300 people come through the early voting center. And I don't have the exact number for this for the general election we just had, because our clerk is still involved in the canvassing of the results. But I believe we had over 8,000 people visit the early voting center this time. So it is proving to be very valuable. We have also we have new agenda management and video software. This is, again, I kind of highlighted on it earlier, but this is for our meeting materials, for our agendas. Those of you that are in township government or municipal government, you know, you get your agendas, you have your packets, either paper or electronic. We are trying to move towards totally electronic, although sometimes we do have to have paper packets. But it allows for all of our information to be consolidated into one place, which makes it a whole lot easier. And I think our commissioners are seeing the value of that portal as they are able to look at those documents in the meeting. It's also providing us with some efficiencies in our processing and preparing for public notices and such. One of the other things that we did this year is we authorized an energy cost savings study. This particular study was authorized and included LED lighting and possible installation of solar panels. The evaluation was performed, and the commission did authorize the LED lighting portion of the project, which has been started and should finish up in March or April of 2025. Another piece of software that we purchased this year is a crash investigation software. This is it's a 3D software that integrates with our drones, and it significantly actually reduces the times that deputies spend on the scene of a crash, clearing the crash scene and opening things back up. It also increases the quality, the detail of the data that they're able to receive from that crash scene, and provides details of evidence that is imperative to the prosecutor's office in their ability to adjudicate the types of cases that they are dealing with that result from these crashes. It can also be utilized for other significant crime scenes to help law enforcement in documenting, investigating, and solving complex crimes, bringing justice for victims. I did have to talk to the sheriff today because I wanted to make sure I was all-encompassing with the benefits of this. And so I apologize, but I was reading directly from him because I did not want to miss any of the benefits that they are experiencing with this very valuable software. Additionally, within his department, we have purchased a scanning equipment for mobile devices. So if you have a mobile device that it needs to have a forensic investigation performed on it, in the past, we've had to send those devices off to Michigan State Police or other agencies to be evaluated. We now have software right in the sheriff's office that work can be done by the detectives, saving time and money for those investigations. And then again, we did purchase software for the FOIA system. It is a portal. If you go onto our website and you want to submit a FOIA request, it's going to take you to this, and your submitting of the information is going to go right to the FOIA portal, and it'll be automatically directed to the department in which you're requesting information from. It streamlines our ability to make sure we're processing FOIA requests in the appropriate time frame and it also creates the statutory mandated log showing when they come in, how they've been responded to, and when they were responded to. And it's actually searchable because it then allows, oftentimes we get requests that are very similar or the same at different times. So we are able to search and pull up an old response to potentially fill a new request, which again is making us more effective and saving us time. So what's coming next? As I indicated, the LED lighting replacement project is something that's going to be going on into 2025. What this project is, for those of you that aren't sure what I'm talking about here, is if you go into some of our county buildings, like the Human Services building as an example, a number of the lights in there, in fact all of them, are what they call T8 fluorescent light bulbs. And they're not very energy efficient. So what we are doing is in all the county buildings, we are going to be replacing those fluorescent light bulbs with LEDs, making it more efficient and reducing the energy invoices that the county is paying. In addition, it will save on our cost for repairs. Right now, any of those T8 fluorescent light bulbs, we cannot find replacements and stuff, so it is really creating a problem. So we're really anxious for us to move this project forward and see how it turns out. You heard Carrie talk a little bit about her meal preparation and the number of meals. In fact, I think that number was just almost 1,200 now, Carrie. When I checked on this a while back, we were about 1,000. So those numbers are increasing exponentially. We have a project going on over at Morris Spear campus. If you drove by there and wondered what the heck's going on, there's a project going on there that will include a new centralized kitchen for the Department on Aging. It'll allow for the congregate meals and the over 1,200 senior meals that are prepared on a daily basis to go out and provide a more productive line for preparing and packaging all those meals. We are also going to be creative here, and some of the youth that are in our open unit are going to be assisting in the kitchen and providing services by helping carry the meals out to the people that are here, the volunteers that are driving them, helping bring the stuff back in, cleaning them up, helping do dishes and that sort of thing. So what you end up doing is creating a situation where we have one group of at-risk youth assisting another set of at-risk individuals and giving the youth some experience that they would otherwise probably not have been able to obtain. So we're really excited about seeing that come to fruition. Another thing that we have coming up is we will now have what's called live scan control access at the judicial building. And in fancy words, this is more fingerprinting, to keep it kind of basic. It's just basically fingerprinting that'll be under lock and key, secured area. But it will allow for a more efficient use of time. Sometimes cases get drawn out because people have to go off-site somewhere to have their fingerprints taken care of. It delays processing. So we will be able to have something right on site to have those fingerprints taken done and continue with the case as needed. So we're excited about that. So one of the next things that we're going to look at is our infrastructure investments. And we have been doing a lot here. So the Board of Commissioners have identified that our building and technology needs are at the forefront of what we're doing at county government. So I'm going to go over some of the projects. This is not all of them, but these are some of the bigger ones that you may have heard about, or if you haven't, there are things that I thought you would be interested in hearing. The judicial building. Now that's the big brown building where the courts are located. We have been hearing over the last number of years by the court staff that we have improvements that need to be made in the building due to its functionality and several other needs. So in an effort to get an unbiased opinion as to what's going on, the commissioners hired a consulting company who came in, and they did a needs and facility assessment of the building. That assessment is actually on our website. If you're interested in taking a look at it, it is very lengthy. And in the end, made recommendations that include anything from renovating the current space by adding on square footage, or potentially demolishing the building and starting over again with a brand new building on site. Now, when we heard that, the cost to do that was a whole lot more than what we originally had expected. So we kind of took a step back and are saying, okay, we need to really vet this out a little bit more. So I would expect in the relatively near future, especially with the sitting of the new commission, we may kind of bring that back and take a look at it to see, all right, what do we need to do going forward, and let's start planning for that. We know it's a very expensive project, whatever it is we decide to do, which is one of the reasons we're starting to put some money aside in our contingency fund. But the commissioners will be looking at that in the near future to figure out what it is that we probably want to do moving forward. That project, realistically, is probably 5 to 7 years out. So it's going to take us a while to really dig in and get that done, but we don't want to put the cart before the horse, so to speak. Maurice Beer Campus, like I said a few minutes ago, is being renovated. That took about 1.5 years for us to get all the plans and specs put together to be able to get that project started. It is a huge project. It has a price tag of $20 million. However, I'm happy to say we did not have to bond for that project at all. We were able to use ARPA funds, our county designated ARPA funds, as well as other county resources to fund this project. This project will increase the beds that are needed. If any of you have heard, statewide juvenile detention centers are struggling to be able to service our local population, and several families and courts are sending young people out of state because we do not have the beds that are needed. Maurice Beer Campus currently works with 18 other counties to be able to service them because of their needs for beds for juvenile detention. Let me move on here a little bit. I do want to say that this project probably would not have happened had it not been for the collaborative efforts of some of our department heads that I'm going to call out right now. So Carrie Rebotero from Department on Aging, Rod Weaver from Maurice Beer Campus, and Tim Meehan from Building and Grounds. They came together, they had a lot of conversations, and they pitched their idea to us in the administrator's office, which was to create this new idea of having a centralized kitchen at a juvenile detention center. It was kind of out of the box thinking that we were actually, once we talked about it, got really excited about. And I think that we are going to be offering something that no one else in the state of Michigan is offering. So excited about that, and I appreciate the way that they were thinking of things. If any of you are familiar with well, first off, does everyone know that we have an airport? All right, I'm embarrassed to say before coming to Lenawee County to work, I did not know we had an airport. So I will say though, our airport is actually a lot busier than people probably give it credit for. We have a long list of pilots waiting to get hangar space on our airport. In this past year, we were able to collaborate with a local pilot and have built another hangar at the airport. So we were pretty happy about that. And we do have some projects in the works that need to get taken care of, but once those projects are behind us, I would expect that we will continue to find ways to add additional hangars at the airport to service the need that is out there. We are also doing quite a bit of work on our parks. Medina Park this year received updates to the restrooms. Some of the roofs were redone to metal roofs, and we added some electrical outlets in the pavilion. And in Ramsdale, this was really cool. We had collaborative efforts with an organization called Oaks Foundation and Siena Heights University, as well as others. We are now able to offer a weather station and something called a birder. Now, I don't know if we have anyone who are avid bird watchers in the room, but we are now able to offer a place where people can go. We have a system that will identify the birds that you're seeing. It will talk about the migration habits of all the different species that you're looking at. And for the weather station, it also allows for students and others to get a better understanding of what's going on with our ecosystem. So we're pretty excited about that. We've never had anything like that at any of our county parks, and so it's kind of new and different. And we're hoping people are able to take advantage of it. Some of our parks in general, I don't know if anyone here are avid hikers, but what we are trying to do at all of our parks is implement signs and notification of all the different trails within our parks. And then those maps are uploaded to something called All Trails app. And so you can download that on your phone, and you can go to any of our county parks and see where our trails are, how far you're going, and hopefully not get lost. So we also, since we're working at Maury Spirit Campus, we thought it was a great time to be able to install the fiber lines to connect all of the buildings to the administrative office. Though that was not the case in the past. We had some of our buildings that had no connectivity to the main office, kind of keeping them alienated. Now all of the buildings are going to be able to speak, which is an advantage, if you can imagine, at the campus. We continue to take a look at our vehicle fleet and our computer replacements. As part of the capital improvement plan, we annually evaluate our vehicles and our need for computers. The vehicles are looked at on an ongoing basis to determine longevity and to plan for any kind of replacements that we may need. And the county computers are on a 5-year rotation, which is managed by our IT department. I want to mention that the health department, Health Officer Monica Hunt was able to receive a very large grant. And she's utilizing that grant to make several improvements at the health department. And so if you have an opportunity to go out there, take a look, or you can go to our website. She recently presented to the Board of Commissioners showing a number of before and after photographs of improvements that she was able to make to the health department. Had we not had that grant, those things probably would not be happening right now. So she's done a great job there. The annex building. We have been doing, the annex building, if you don't know, is the building where the clerk is located right now for her vital records, elections. It's also the building, it's across from the old courthouse. It houses the public defender. And it now houses a division of the prosecuting attorney's office. So we modified that building to fit the needs that we have. The majority of the prosecutor's office is located in the judicial building. As I indicated earlier, we have some space and needs issues going on in that building, and quite frankly, the prosecutor's office has outgrown their current location. They've gotten very creative in where they're putting people to do their work, including closets and all different kinds of fun things. So we're able to move some of them into the annex building to allow them to do the work that they need to do in a more comfortable environment. This will continue to be looked at as we analyze what we're going to do with the judicial building into the future. So what's coming next regarding our infrastructure? Well, Maury Spirit Campus project is going to hopefully be completed at the end of 2025, and we'll be able to become active in the beginning of 2026. Excuse me. The Human Services Building, the meeting rooms. I don't know if any of you have been out there, but those meeting rooms are in need of some renovation. And I know we've been talking about this year after year about getting that done, but we do have it on schedule and projected funding for that. And what that'll mean is it's not only new carpet, new paint, there's a divider wall that gets moved back and forth depending on whether you need a larger space or a smaller space. It will also include various types of technology needs, and we'll actually set it up so that if we have an emergency and need an off-site joint information center, it will serve as that for the needs that we may have. The health department, they have additional improvements that they want to make. They've made a lot of them to their actually health department side, and they are looking at now making improvements to their environmental side of the office. So we will see those improvements coming on both physical and technology improvements in 2025. Gerber Park. This is kind of a different project. We were very fortunate in that we have received a $75,000 grant, and that grant will go to provide inclusive musical equipment at Gerber Park. Now, when Gerber Park was donated to the county, one of the requests was that it have some educational components. Several of our parks that we have were donated in one form or another and have certain requests or needs attached to them. So we want to continue to honor those requests. So we are looking at bringing musical equipment, which will allow children to have an experience of being able to hear what equipment sounds like and operate that equipment. And it also holds true to that original intent of creating educational components at that park. So Medina Park is part of our capital improvement plan. We are going to create a new basketball/pickleball court. So any of you that enjoy pickleball, there you go. We will have a pickleball court on the other side of the county that you can go to and enjoy. So you'll see that in Medina Park in 2025. We continue to evaluate our fleet and our computer equipment to make sure that we are being good stewards of those resources. The jail is going under some improvements also. These improvements are funded through ARPA funds. And recently, the commissioners have approved some painting, new and updated kitchen equipment, and renovated showers. We are also hoping next month to bring a possible project before the commission for a new renovated jail booking area. They have also have what's called mobile command unit and have been making renovations to the mobile command unit so that it is ready to go going forward. The judicial building. So we've talked a little bit about all the different things that we know we need to do with the building going forward. It's 5 to 7 years down the road. There are still some immediate needs that we have to take care of. So we are going to freshen some of the spaces up with paint, new carpeting, but we are also looking at a number of safety needs and operational equipment that can be implemented and then potentially removed and put into either the new site, whatever we do with that, or can be repurposed into one of the other county buildings. So that way we are able to recycle some of that equipment and technology that is going into the building. So our fifth focus area is community development. You may remember about a year and a half ago or so, our commissioners did approve a position for community development. And that position is kind of paving the way of where we're going. And there's a lot of focus right now on the opioid funds, the land bank, and broadband. Those are some of the key focus areas that we're looking at right now in this position. One of the things that we were very fortunate to be recognized and received a grant opportunity to attend a peer opportunity exchange in Yavapai County, Arizona. This was in a session where we were able to go and network and understand how they were able to do some of the things that they do. In other words, they were able to develop something called an integrative justice collaborative, which also was kind of out of the box, where they provided for a dedicated 911 line that distinguishes the difference between a behavioral health matter and an actual law enforcement matter. Their studies indicate that 84% of the calls that come into their 911 center are actually behavioral health type related issues. Only 16% are law enforcement issues. Now, I have no idea what our statistics look like. We haven't done that yet. But we've recognized that behavioral health and mental health issues are becoming more and more at the forefront of things that we want to be aware of and find remedies to. And so we are looking to see if there's a way that we can maybe implement something like that into our 911 center that will then allow our responding agencies the ability to have a better understanding of what is going on at the scene when they get there. Lenawee County was also received a grant and been accepted to the HCS Data Dashboard Learning Collaborative with Addiction Policy Forum. So this is a 6-month program to create a county dashboard, which we currently do not have. The land bank, this position is working hand in hand with our county land bank. As a result of some of the work this person has done with the land bank, we were recognized by the state land bank at the Land Bank Summit for all of the work that was being done here in Lenawee County. In addition, this past year, we had a record-breaking 13 land sales of property. What that means is we have taken property in through tax foreclosure, made changes to it, and sold them to get them back on the market and be productive pieces of property within all of our communities. The other thing that we've been working on is broadband. We had a mapping done of the entire county, and I've identified pockets where there is no internet. And so what our community development person has been doing, she's been working very closely with the internet service providers, kind of holding them accountable and trying to get service to some of the areas that are currently unserved. And she will continue to do that in working with those providers going forward. Hopefully, at one point, everyone in the county will have access to internet. What's coming next for community development? Well, you've heard of opioid funds. The county receives opioid funds on an annual basis, and right now we are evaluating the best use of those opioid funds. We are taking a very cautious and methodical approach because those funds, once they're gone, they're gone. They're not going to be replaced. And the state has very stringent guidelines as to how you can use those. An example, they cannot be used for general fund operations. There's very specific purpose behind them. So as we've moved forward, we have worked with MSU Extension in the collaboration of a community needs assessment. The commission was provided with those results. There was a qualitative assessment performed with 178 individuals. These individuals are either in jail, are in active addiction, or in recovery. And they were interviewed to find out what their needs and issues regarding substance use disorder were. We also have held town halls and book reads focusing on opioids and how those are impacting individuals. And the Board of Commissioners, through designated subcommittees, are evaluating the needs that will ultimately make recommendations to the full board on how we are going to spend those funds. So we are working through that very detailed process. On the land bank, I wanted to mention that, I think I already covered this. I am so sorry. Went backwards. So we're on that though, we do want to continue. We are looking at ways that we can market those properties. We're doing videos for the properties and pushing them out on social media platforms to try to get them out into the people's mailboxes on your social media and show you where there's properties that you may be of interest to purchase and develop. And then we also want to continue collaboration with our stakeholders and our partners in Lenawee County. No project should go without some kind of collaboration. And so we want to continue working with all of the different service agencies and providers within the county to be able to provide the best service we can for our residents. Just a few additional highlights I wanted to mention. If any of you are familiar with our Veterans Affairs Office, Tammy Sheldon is being recognized at a conference in Grand Rapids as the 2024 Veterans Service Provider of the Year. So we're very happy with that for her. We also have Morris Spear campuses being recognized by the state of Michigan for our gold standard. We have once again been recommended by the state as a campus to follow, to see what we've done. There's another community, another county who's looking to put in a detention center that does not have the experience, and the state referred them to us to mentor and monitor as they get their center up and running. Our 2025-2029 Parks and Recreation Plan has been updated and approved, and we're approving that tomorrow, so I got a little ahead of myself, sorry. And it'll then be sent to the state so that we have an active 5-year plan on record, which is something we need to have in the event we want to apply for any kind of funding for our parks. Lenawee County has a drone team. I don't know if you knew that, but the drone team consists of 6 drones and 12 trained pilots. Not only does this drone team service Lenawee County, but it has been called out by neighboring counties to assist in a variety of different types of matters. If somebody is lost, we had an unfortunate situation in Hillsdale County not too terribly long ago, where we had a shooting and then a person tried to escape, and our drone team was able to go in and assist and find the individual that did the shooting. So this is something we're pretty excited about. Emergency Management did receive a grant for what's called electric vehicle charger plugs. And those, we got 18 of those, and they were distributed to fire departments and agencies throughout the county. Who here has an electric vehicle? Okay. So right now, yeah. So one of the things I found that's very interesting, if an electric car is involved in a crash, if that, it's kind of lodged in, while delodging that vehicle from the crash, if it's an electric car, the car thinks that it now has the signal to go and will start moving. So these plugs will basically insert it into the charging plug, and it will disable the vehicle from moving. So all the fire departments have them, so if they do come across a crash that has an electric vehicle, they can put the plug in and make sure that everybody stays safe throughout as the scene is being processed. We now have CAD to CAD upgrade in central dispatch. Now CAD stands for Computer Aided Dispatch. This system is used by dispatch to prioritize and record calls, identify status and location of responders in the field, and effectively dispatch the responding personnel. We can now basically use this to communicate with other counties at a push of a button. So we get information in, we need to get it to another county so that they have all of it. We literally can use the computer to push the button, it'll send it to their CAD unit, and they'll receive the information. So it creates for better communication between departments and hopefully more ease of enforcing if we have a situation that needs that to happen. Has anybody heard of geofencing? Okay, so one of the things that we are doing now is we are able, especially in large events like Faster Horses, the NASCAR races, we are able to create what's called the geofence, which says that if any 911 calls come from within that geofence, it goes to a 911 center that has been set up for that particular event, rather than coming all the way downtown to Lenawee County Dispatch. That assures our ability to respond quicker, and it keeps a lot of those radio calls from going into the general dispatch center. The Sheriff's Office recently implemented a Hope Not Handcuffs program. This is a program that allows individuals with alcohol or substance use disorders to walk into the Sheriff's Office and ask for help without fear of being incarcerated. The Sheriff's Office has resources available that can meet the needs of these individuals. And to date, we have had 8. We have had 8 individuals take advantage of that program. Another one, I know the sheriff is super happy about this one. So unfortunately, I don't know if you realize, but when the power goes out, the lights at the intersections of US 12 and M52, US 12 and M50, and M50 and M52 go out. And they stay out until the power comes back on. What that means is the sheriff's office is at that intersection monitoring traffic, whether it's daytime, nighttime, weekend, weekday, it doesn't matter. They have to do that because those are busy intersections and the lights are out and people will just drive through those intersections, creating an extremely dangerous situation. Well, after 5 years of lobbying senators, congressmen, state reps, MDOT, consumers, and probably a whole lot of other people, the sheriff has been successful in getting a battery backup generator that will operate those traffic signals for a period of 10 to 12 hours, hopefully long enough to get that power back on. This is ensuring a safer environment and ultimately protecting lives. So I know he is really excited about that. So we are finally wrapping it up. I'm sorry, I know I've seen some of you look at your watches, so I'm trying to get you out of here. We've accomplished a lot in 2024, and the things I've highlighted today are really the highlights. I could go into any department in the county and talk about all the things that they have done. But I'm very proud of what we have done. Coming forward in 2025, as Board Chairman Van Doren mentioned at the beginning of the meeting, we do have some new commissioners going out. That means we have some commissioners coming in. So I had Commissioner Bolton, Commissioner Bales, and Commissioner Jenkins-Arno will all be leaving us. And we will have incoming Commissioner David Ungst, Beth Blanco, and Jim Daly coming into our Board of Commissioners and joining us in January. So we're really excited to see what that transition looks like. Now, for the first time ever, those seats are now for 4-year terms. Up until now, they've been 2-year terms. So hopefully those that ran for office, Mr. Ungst, enjoy what you're doing because you're stuck with us for 4 years. One of the things that I know the commissioners are going to be looking at in 2025 is a strategic plan. Now, we did a strategic plan back in 2013, 11 years ago. And I think that as we're moving forward and we're establishing objectives, we want to kind of come up with a more formalized plan that provides with a mission, a vision, and action items as to how we can accomplish those goals. Kind of creating what we call SMART goals, to make sure that they're attainable and we're benchmarked so that we can know that we are succeeding in what we're trying to do and we're not wasting your money. I know that there will be a continued emphasis on our technology and infrastructure improvements. We have made lots of improvements over the last few years by renovating and improving if you remember the old jail that sat on the corner, it's now a beautiful sheriff's office. I'd encourage you to stop by the old courthouse. That has been restored and renovated and is absolutely beautiful. And now the improvements that we are looking at Maurice Beer campus, the changes we've made to the annex building. So we are continuing to focus on our county resources so that they are viable for the next 50 to 75 years. We also want to make sure that we are remaining fiscally sound and preparing ourselves for the future. We have all these plans that we want to do, but we cannot do them and spend carelessly. So we continue to focus and make sure that the spending of our taxpayer dollars on these projects are done in an efficient and effective way. Winston Churchill said, "A pessimist sees the difficulty in every opportunity. An optimist sees the opportunity in every difficulty." Lenawee County is no different than any other county. We all have difficulties. However, I know that in Lenawee County, we are ready to turn those difficulties and challenges into opportunities. I look forward to continuing to service you as your county administrator as we face these challenges together. And I want to thank you for your continued support. So with that, if you have any questions, I will try to answer them. Oh, come on.